Welcome to this explainer. Today we are diving deep into the subconscious power of your eyes and how to command respect in absolutely any room, no matter who you're talking to. Think about it for a second. You can buy the fanciest designer clothes, you can build a shredded physique at the gym, and you could even master the art of perfectly fluent speech. But honestly, if you lack this one single trait we're dissecting today, people will never truly respect you. In fact, they'll just look right through you. So today we are unpacking the 5 levels of psychological eye contact that 99% of people have absolutely no clue about.
Here is our roadmap for today. We're going to hit the 3-second judgment, navigate social tension, master the magnetic look, unpack the romance triangle, learn to drop the anchor, and finally lock in the focus gaze. Let's jump right in.
All right, part 1, the 3-second judgment. Let's face the brutal reality of first impressions.
You know, before you even open your mouth to say a single word, a silent conversation has already happened. And the magic number here? It's 3. Psychologists shows us that when you meet someone for the very first time, it takes their subconscious brain exactly 3 seconds to determine your social status and your value. 3 seconds. That is an astonishingly tiny window. In those crucial moments, if you look down or break eye contact nervously, you are immediately signaling to the other person's subconscious that you're a follower, not a leader. Your eyes are literally broadcasting your status before your words even get a chance.
Let's do a quick mental test right now. Imagine I was standing right in front of you, looking directly into your eyes for 5 solid seconds without blinking. Would you feel the urge to look away? Would you suddenly feel this overwhelming need to pull out your phone and check a notification that doesn't even exist just to escape the moment?
And that brings us to Section 2, social tension and the break. That heavy, squirmy urge to look away that you just imagined, that is called social tension. Now, we aren't robots, right? We can't stare indefinitely. But check out the contrast here. 99% of people break that tension by looking down, which subconsciously signals submission. It's a huge mistake. High-value individuals, on the other hand, casually shift their gaze sideways or slightly upward. Why? Because it projects deep focus and intellectual processing, rather than just folding under the pressure. Moving right along to Section 3, the magnetic look. Let's talk about the sticky eyes technique.
Have you ever met someone so incredibly charismatic that when they speak to you, you feel like the most important person in the universe? Well, they're probably using this exact psychological tool, sticky eyes. While average people snap their gaze away the exact millisecond a conversation ends just to frantically escape social tension, utilizing the sticky eyes technique does the total opposite. Imagine your gaze has this subtle magnetic pull. When you finish speaking, you hold your gaze for just 1 extra second before letting it smoothly drift away. That deliberate pause, it signals deep, authentic interest and warmth. It leaves a lasting psychological imprint that makes the other person feel incredibly validated.
But hey, a huge warning here. You've got to hold it for only 1 extra second. That is the sweet spot. If you hold it for, say, 5 seconds after the conversation naturally concludes, you cross the line from a charismatic, warm individual into deeply unsettling thriller villain territory. Precision is literally everything with this one.
All right, let's switch gears a bit. Section 4, the romance triangle and subconscious attraction.
Staring intensely into both eyes for way too long, that just feels like a police interrogation. It causes anxiety, not the emotional romantic tension we're aiming for. Instead, you want to use the triangulation method. Basically, in your mind, you physically map out an inverted triangle on their face. You look into their left eye for 1 to 2 seconds, smoothly drift to their right eye for another second, drop your gaze down to their lips for a brief moment, and then return to their eyes. This highly specific, subtle shifting triggers an instinctual awareness of attraction deep in the other person's subconscious.
I really cannot stress this enough. You must never use this tactic with colleagues or in business meetings. Seriously, because it relies on deep, instinctual romantic cues. Doing this at the office will completely change the dynamic of your professional relationship and almost certainly not in the way you want. Keep the triangle out of the boardroom.
Okay, now for Section 5, dropping the anchor as a defense weapon.
Because, let's be real, social life isn't always warm and fuzzy. When you're confronted by a toxic boss or an aggressive acquaintance, the source material suggests weaponizing your gaze by dropping the anchor. This requires some strict physical discipline. Pick just one of their eyes, the left eye is highly recommended, and fix your gaze onto that single spot like a heavy anchor. Keep your eyebrows perfectly level, remove absolutely all emotional expressions from your face, and do not blink. You're actively transforming your face into an unreadable, stony mask.
So why is this defensive technique so powerful? Well, when humans get startled, their eyes rapidly dart between an opponent's left and right eyes. This causes microscopic head shakes that loudly broadcast internal panic. But freezing your focus onto a single point completely cuts off those microshakes. It is incredibly destabilizing for a bully to look at someone whose eyes are deadlocked and completely unreadable. By staying completely still and devoid of emotion, the aggressor's brain actually starts to short-circuit. They're wondering why you aren't showing the fear they expect. This psychological weight forces them to break eye contact first. And in social psychology, the one who breaks contact first loses the position of power. You flip the dynamic entirely without uttering a single syllable.
Finally, we arrive at Section 6, the focus gaze, alpha versus prey.
Look, you obviously can't walk around dropping the anchor on everybody all day long. You'd exhaust yourself, and honestly, you'd terrify your friends. You need a sustainable baseline that still commands respect. So many people try to maintain eye contact but end up looking wide-eyed and unhinged, which biologically broadcasts a prey response. It's literally the face of adrenaline and panic. Compare that to the focus gaze. It's a relaxed, slightly narrowed gaze mimicking a calm, calculating predator. Think of a lion surveying the savannah. A lion's eyes are never stretched wide in shock. They're always controlled.
To make the focus gaze your brand new default state, just follow these simple mechanics. Keep your upper brow completely relaxed. Absolutely no tension in the forehead. Then, gently lift your lower eyelids just a fraction. That tiny, subtle adjustment completely shifts your demeanor. You go from looking like a startled deer in headlights to projecting a state of calm analysis. You'll always look like you're calmly evaluating a situation rather than being shocked by it.
We've covered a ton of ground today, right? From that crucial initial 3-second window, all the way to dropping the anchor on an aggressor. You now have the psychological blueprint to fundamentally change how people perceive you simply by controlling the tiny muscles around your eyes. So I'll leave you with this final thought to ponder. With these 5 levels mapped out and your awareness sharpened, how are you going to weaponize your 3-second judgment window the next time you walk into a crowded room? Who will you make look away first tomorrow?